welcome back to my podcast. This is the second episode, and today's episode we're going to talk about my books. I literally had a book addiction for a while. I could literally, sometimes if I'm really into it, I could literally read a whole entire book in like 2 or 3 days. I kid you not. And it could be over like 200 books. 200 books. It could be over 200 pages. Okay? But, if you're new, my name is Emily. His name is Toby. Okay? He comes in and sometimes into the shop whenever he wants to. Um, I'm 19. He's 3. Only because he's here, I'm going to do the outro for him too. So, yeah. I hope you don't hear him. That he's like breathing weird. You okay? You okay? Yeah. You okay? Okay. Um. Okay. But if you're new here, my name's Emily. I'm 19, and I just decided to go for this podcast to do this podcast because I'm just like, why not? I enjoy doing it. I've done it before, just that this time it's in a recording, like you can actually see me, and the other ones were just like in audio. So yeah, that's the difference. But I've been doing this for almost a year, give or take, but just the one with the audio, not the video. So yeah, let's see how it goes, okay? And my first video, it's a different angle because I'm recording on my phone, and as you can see, I don't have a mic. This is my only mic I have, which is like literally my earphones. But I kind of like the audio on it. Like, it does a pretty good job. So, yeah. Um, the last episode, my phone was recording straight, and I didn't like how I ended up having to edit it. It didn't look horrible, but I didn't really like it either. So this time I'm gonna try it like this. And if I don't like it like this, I'm gonna just go to the other way. But hopefully I do end up liking it. Also, I did it like this because I'm like, you can see my books and see what it is. Alright, so I separate my books in 3 selections. I have a bunch of books. I kind of took them out, all of them in a way. Except for these two, I have some books here and some down here too in my last shelves. But I didn't decide to take those out because I didn't really read them, and if I'm being honest with you, they didn't really catch my attention that much. Or I just have to read them because, yeah. But these are the books that I have big opinions on, or that I just have something to say about them, pretty much. Okay? And some of you might hate me for this. Some of you might hate me because some of them are very popular books that you might be like, what? I enjoy this book. I love this book. And so on and so on. And some are just really underrated books that I feel like Book Talk doesn't really talk about on there. I'm going to just be the one to show you the type of books I like and the genres they are. And I'm going to try to explain to you. But if you want more of like a rating, I am going to give it to a year. But I believe I have a different ratings on my Instagram. I have like a whole like story on there, so you can check them out and you can see if you want more info on them, because I do believe I added more info on my Instagram. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do my best to gather. I'm not gonna be rating them like 1 out of 10, but I will tell you if I liked them or I didn't. So yeah. Okay, so this column right here is the books that I love and I enjoyed. And there's some books behind it, which is like this column. And these are the books that I just did not enjoy reading whatsoever. Or I probably did, but I just wouldn't buy it. And then I have this section right here. And that section is just a recommendation book section. So yeah, it's not that big. So yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, let's get in. Okay. We're going to start with the books that I like. Okay, we're going to start off from my strongest to the least. This one is one of the first books, like probably my second to third book that I have ever read. OMG. I loved it so much. Maybe because I kind of felt it in a way, or I kind of related it. I relate to it. Sorry. To it. The cover is weird. Not gonna lie. So yeah. It's they're just fates, obviously. It's not the cutest cover ever. And also, the books that I got, I get them from this one place, and they are so cheap. I could get 6 books. They're all used, that's why. But I could get 6 books for literally under $10. I love that place so much, and the only time I go there is when I go get my hair done with me and my mom. But the thing is that sometimes she makes an appointment really late and they close really early. So if you want to go to like the bookstore, you literally have to go early in the morning. But I love that spot so much. I literally bought half of my books from there. So, yeah. And this is where I got one of them. So, this one is a love triangle. Okay, this one's a love triangle. And it's 2 best friends and 1 boy. One best friend decided to go after a boy. But thing is that, so I'm gonna put like A, B, and C, right? So A is one of the best friends. B is the other best friend, and then C is the boy best friend. The boy best friend. I mean, it's just a regular boy, right? Sorry. So it's A best friend. B is the other best friend, and then C is just a random boy. So little background for what I remember is that, let's say B liked C from way back, but she just really didn't tell anyone that she had a crush on him. So, yeah, or she probably did. I just don't really remember that much. But it was something like that, and then A ends up going after C, and whatever, they get together and so on and so on. But the thing is that best friend B ends up kind of getting jealous of it, and they have all these situations or all these interactions with B and C, and it's just more of like a love triangle thing. It's crazy ending, first of all. Not crazy ending, but like right in the middle, you're like, oh wow. Like that's kind of shocking. And in one of my TikToks, I literally posted, I'm literally gonna reread this story. I'm gonna literally reread this book because there is this one quote in here that I loved, and I posted it on TikTok, and it literally had like 100 and something likes. It's a really good written book. Okay, I don't know what it is, but this is a really good book. More if it's really good at explaining its feelings. Like you're able to understand the feelings that the characters are going through, and I love that. I love when I'm able to feel what the characters are feeling, because there's some books that I really like on that, and I'm just like, this book is not that great because they're not really good at explaining how the other person is feelings, and this book really does that for me. You really understand the person's mind and the person's character and the other characters as well. Like you understand where everyone's at in the book. And it's a very short book as well, which I really love. It only has 209 pages. 209. That's very short. The only thing that I would say that kind of bugged me was somewhat of the ending, but it's not a really huge deal. But I enjoy it. I love it. I'm literally gonna reread this book. So yeah, main point is that it's a love triangle between 2 best friends and a boy. And I mean, I can't really tell you more than that because and then I'll kind of spoil the whole entire book for you. But there's a lot of situations where, you know, accidents happen. So, yeah. Not gonna say between who and who and who. So, yeah. But you might think, oh, I already know who it is because she said accident. But no, this book is sometimes very hard to like anticipate what's gonna happen next. So yeah, I love this book so much. I would recommend this book to everyone, in my opinion. So yeah, and then especially if you hate it, it's only 200. Literally only 200 pages. So not even that much. So yeah, this is the book again. So yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next book. Um, this one. We Were Liars. Okay. This one. This one is a really good book. The only problem I have with this book is that you read it and sometimes you are lost. Like midway, literally like probably in between these two pages, you are reading it and you're like, what the hell is going on? You're like, did I misread something? Like, did I miss a page or something? Like, what is going on? If you decide to get this book, you gotta push through it. You gotta push through that confusion, because at the end, it's worth it. You're gonna be like, oh, like, what the heck? Because, my cousin also read it. She's also a big, like, book reader. So, yeah. And I told her that I read it. She likes this book. I love this book. As I said, the only big red flag is that in the middle you kind of get lost, okay? But I'm going to read the back. We are liars. We are beautiful and privileged. We are cracked and broken. A tale of love and romance. A tragedy of tales of tragedy, which are lies, which is truth. You decide. This book is crazy. It's literally insane because of the ending. You're reading everything and it's like, okay, like everything seems normal and then boom, you get hit with it in the end. You're like, I did not see that coming, you know. They talk about, I can't really spoil it. Like, it's really hard to talk about this book because it's very hard not to spoil it, okay? But I'm gonna do my best. So, there's a group of friends and they are all happy with each other. They all hang out and everything like that. Something happens. That's literally all I feel like I can tell you. Something happens, there's a fire, and from there you just gotta read on because I feel like that's the most I can give you. There's friends, and then there's a fire, and then something happens. And yeah, you just gotta push through the confusion. But yeah, there's just friends. It tells you all the good stuff. It tells you how the friends work. It's very much just like these friends are so close. It gives you a little background. It gives you details of what's actually happening. I promise you, if I could give you more, I would. I literally will give you more, but I literally can't because that would just require me to spoil it. So yeah. Also, this is my first time doing like a book review, so please be patient with me. I'm sorry if this is not the best, but yeah, no. I like this book. I would recommend it to someone. As I said, the only big red flag is that there's a part where you get really confused and you're like, what's going on? And you just gotta keep pushing it, because I promise you, this book is worth it. Okay? So yeah. Now, this one's a very popular one. This one is called... This one is called Shatter Me. Okay, it was all over Book Talk, and I decided to do it. I decided, like, you know what, let's read it. It is serious. I didn't know that there was a series. I haven't read it. I've been wanting to. I really have. But I can't. Also, it's because the way it ended, didn't even realize that there was a second part. Or more parts. The way it ended, I was just like, oh, okay. You know, I didn't even, like, it didn't even give me the, like, the curiosity of, like, oh, is there another part? Like, I feel like it ended okay, you know? So I'm gonna read you the back. I have a curse, I have a gift. I am a monster, I'm more than human. My touch is lethal, my touch is power. I am their weapon, I will fight back. And then it just says, a fragile teenage girl is held captive, locked in a cell by the establishment, a harsh dictator in charge of a crumbled world. But Juliet is no longer original teenager. Sorry. One touch from her can kill you. The reestablished wants to use her as a weapon, but Julia has other plans. After a lifetime without freedom, she finally discovered the strength to fight back and to find a future with one other person she thought she lost forever. So this one I can give you more details about. Because it kind of just says it. So, this girl, she has powers. She's locked away for a while because they want to use her for killing people, right? So, pretty much, if she touches you, you pretty much die. Um, and she didn't know she had these powers until she was in a situation where she actually kind of killed someone. And then she was like, oh, like, what the heck? You know, I just killed someone by touching them. And then she just kind of realizes over and over that she kind of has powers when she keeps having to use them, right? And then, on top of that, there is someone who like protects her in a way. A guy like kind of protects her and tries to get her out from the cell and just from all this bad stuff that's happening. And he finally was able to accomplish that, but the thing is that this book is kind of like Divergent. Not kind of, pretty much is like Divergent. Um so he finally gets her out, but of course nothing's easy, so they got to go through a whole bunch of obstacles, a bunch of challenges. And yeah, and then you can really see, I personally feel like the characters show a good amount of chemistry, um which is crazy because they can't even touch each other. So yeah. um and the way they escaped from the bad people is kind of crazy too. So yeah, she just goes through all that with the guy, and they literally had to go through so much situations. And the girl meets more about the guy, and then the guy kind of learns more about the girl, and it's just a beautiful story. I love it so much. But yeah, that's the whole main thing. It's kind of like a romance and them trying to survive from a world that's like corrupted, and they had to go through so much just to survive. So yeah, as I said, it ended pretty well for me in my opinion. Didn't even know there was other books, and I didn't realize until like a while. And yeah, I've been trying to read it, and once I read it, I will literally come back and give you my thoughts again. So yeah, but this is it. I love it. I personally love it, and I would recommend you read it because it's very interesting. Because I mean, she has powers. Okay. Now, this one. This is my fourth one. Okay. This one is called The Beast. This one is not romance. I can tell you that right now. It is not a romance book. It is a crime book, pretty much. I still remember it because it was one of the best books I ever read when it comes to crime. So, pretty much, there's this apartment, and there's this guy who kept, I believe, a tiger or something like that in his apartment. But the thing is that he ends up dying. The owner of the pet end up dying. They're trying to figure out how he died, and they're just going on to victim to victim to victim, right? And they literally find out more stuff about his apartment. Okay, they found out they have all these creepy ass animals. They have snakes, they have this, they have spiders, and he's just a very crazy guy. Okay, the one who died. And this is all from like the cops' point of view, obviously. So, while they're all discovering this, it's like, ooh, Also, he was a he would hire people to be kind of, I don't know if I can say it on here, to be very romantic to him, if you get me by that. So yeah, he would pay people to be very romantic to him. And the way that he would be romantic towards them is very disturbing in a way. Um so yeah, it just talks about how the guy died and the things he would do. They follow his money because he was very rich, and so they follow the money. They go to the person's next door. They go to the manager of the building because he was in an apartment, and yeah, and they just realize how there was pretty much a tiger in there and a bunch of weird stuff, and how he did all this weird stuff. And even they even talked to his like ex-wife, and she has some crazy stories about him as well and why they got divorced. I personally love this story. It's the best crime books I have ever read. This inspires me to even read more crime books. This book has not been about enough. It's a very underrated book for sure, 100%. It's called The Beast, and I mean, yeah, it's very crazy. It keeps you insane. It keeps you on your toes because you're like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? You know? So, top favorite. Um, if you get very disturbed easily, I don't really recommend it to you. But if you like crime books and you like stuff like the things I just told you about this book, then I definitely recommend it. Or maybe you're just trying something new, try and get out of that romance or wherever genre of books you are. I recommend this book. It's very easy to understand, which also surprised me because there's a lot going on. So, yeah. It's called The Beast. So, yeah, I love this book very much. Now, this book is very well known to Book Talk. It's called Ugly Love. Okay. Oh, also, the other book, I personally found it the best. I found it had no red flags in my opinion. So yeah. Not like this book. I can't even tell if I like this book or not. But I am gonna tell you this. It is a very romantic book. Very romantic book. So yeah, it's the brother, sister, and then a pilot. So the brother is a pilot, and he has this friend who is a pilot. So he's involved. Okay, and then there's a sister. Okay, if that makes any sense. It's a love. It's not a love triangle. It's just a romantic book. Here we go. It's a romantic between Tate and Miles. Okay, and then yeah, Miles knows this pilot, which is the brother of Tate. So yeah, brother, sister, brother has a friend who's a pilot. Sister falls in love with pilot. Pretty much. So, I'm gonna read you the back. It's not exactly love at first sight of Tate Collins when she meets the torment and sensitive Miles Arch. They wouldn't even go so far to consider themselves friends. The only thing Tate and Miles have in common is a mutual physical attraction that can be denied. Once their desires are out in the open, they realize that they might have stumbled on the perfect no-string arrangement. He is not looking for love, and she doesn't have time for it. So, it just leaves with, I don't think I say this word. So, very romantic attractions. I think I could say that. So, yeah, if you know what I mean. What they have gotten to be surprisingly satisfying as long as Tate can stick to two rules Miles has for her. Never ask about the past and don't expect the future. Do they think they can handle it? But everything is different when real emotion starts to change the equation. As you can see, my reading is not that great. I really suck at reading. I tend to stumble. But if I read in my head, I'm the fastest reader out here. So yeah. Oh, this book. The girl's the red flag. The girl's the biggest red flag on here. This girl got me so mad in this book. Okay, Tate the character of the girl, literally got me so mad. It's like, bro, you're the red flag in here. Like, get out. I don't even want to know about you. Like, get out. Like, go get some self love. Go get some self respect. Because the way that some situations came, I'm just like, damn. Like, how are you still with him? I'm just like, crap, you know. Um, but man, did this book made me cry. So it's about, as I said, it's mainly romance. The brother comes out, but not as much. I don't really think the brother is that important. The only reason why I think it's important is because that's how, obviously, the sister found out about the other pilot. So yeah, um, but the only reason why I have this book as one of my favorites is because of what Miles had to go through. Miles had to go through a lot, and his trauma is crazy. Okay, I read it and I was just like, I didn't expect much, but this guy trauma is so crazy. Okay, so pretty much in the past, Miles had this girlfriend, and their story alone is crazy, first of all. And, they have to go through a lot. And, yeah, they go through a lot that ends up Miles being traumatized and scarred for life. Okay? And because of his ex or his past and the things that they had to go through, which mentions in the book, but I just really cannot say, um, you're really just like, damn, like who wouldn't be scarred for life? And once you get to the part, you'll understand the cover. You understand the cover. Okay. Um. So because of this, he ends up growing up, and he's just not capable of being in love or just being open to other people like that. And once a year, he ends up getting drunk for a specific reason, and or not even once a month, but usually he gets drunk sometimes, but not as much. And pretty much, Tate, the sister, had to go over his brother's house. I forgot for what, but she ends up going, and she ends up finding Miles passed out on his door. So that's how they first met, and their interaction is crazy. Um, but yeah, they end up just kind of being friends, and again, they end up being very romantic towards each other, if you know what I mean. And I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. They end up being very romantic, and he ends up, if I'm being honest, midway, I'm 100% sure he fell for her because of the things he would do to her, or the things he would do for her. Like, I remember this one, which is really big, is an orange juice scene. She loves orange juice, and every time he would have orange juice in his fridge for whenever she would come over. And he was a very jealous, overprotective person. So, yeah, which I love because it's the situation of when he gets jealous. Beautiful. I love that scene. But one of my favorite scenes is when he has to go revisit his past, and he goes visit his ex, and he ends up just catching up with her, like, hey, like, how have you been, and this and that, and like, how are you able to move on from what happened to us and everything like that. And she was just like, she just explained it all to him. After that, he was able to move on and get on with his life. So it's very traumatic, but I just love the way he was able to move on from his past He was one of my favorite characters for sure. The brother is funny. The girl needs to get out of here. Like, bro, come on. Have some self respect on here. Cause damn. But this is a very cute romantic love story. But very tragic as well. Very traumatizing. But a really good book. I definitely love it. But again, the only red flag I have for this is the girl. Like, get out. Like, be for real. Okay, now let's move on to the books that I dislike. This one. My cousin, she lent me this book. She said it was one of her not one of her favorites, but she really loved this book. When I read it, didn't like it whatsoever. It's a poetry book. I probably only like 2 or 3 poetries from here. But other than that, didn't really like it. Because I didn't really relate to what was happening. I didn't really relate to any of them. And it was very hard for me to capture it on what was going on in some of the poetries. I'll read them and I'm like, this makes no sense. But again, that was for me. She loved it, so she understood what was going on. I could not find anything. I only found one part that I really loved. I forgot what it's called, but yeah, again, not my favorite. Didn't understand it. I tell her that I didn't like it, and she gets mad at me all the time. But yeah, it's just a poetry book. I don't like it because I just didn't understand any of it. But again, maybe if you want to try it out, maybe you'll understand it better than I would. So, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much I can say. It's just a poetry book that I just didn't like whatsoever. This one over here, It Starts With Us. Again, by the same author who made this book. I'm reading 3 of her books. So this is one of them. And this is the other one. Alright. It Starts With Us. So this one has 2 parts to it. The other one is called It Ends With Us, which is a beautiful book. I love that book so much. It's crazy because I literally still remember the whole entire book. It literally took me 3 days to get over that damn book. I read it and I was like, OMG, bro. Like, what the heck? You know? If you have read it, I cannot get over the scene of where did you get the magnet? Or where did you get the something like that. I think it was magnet. But if not, I'm so sorry. But yeah, there's a scene like that and I'm like, OMG. So this is the second part. Okay. There is Ryle. In case you don't know the book I'm talking about, so give you a little background in case you didn't read It Ends With Us. Ryle is a guy that Lily dated, and they end up dating, and well, he's just very abusive towards Lily, and they go on some dates, and then they end up running into Lily's first love, I believe, which his name was Atlantic. Atlantic. I'm gonna say Atlantic. I'm sorry if that's wrong, but yeah. So yeah. And then Ryo would get upset with Lily because, well, he realized that he has some past with her and with Atlanta, and he just got very jealous over that. So there's this one incident where they were in the restaurant and they all kind of ran into each other, and then Atlanta gave Lily his phone number, and then later on that night, Rao did something dumb, like I think he abused her, if I'm not wrong, or he did something, and then Lily ended up going to Atlantis, and it was just a love triangle thing, right? Later on, Lily gets pregnant with Raoul's baby, and they just find out they're very toxic towards each other and whatever, right? Atlantic is the good guy. He is the guy you want, okay? Um, it also talks about Atlantic's and Lily's love story when they were younger. It's very sad, their young love. But I'm happy that they were able to get back with each other or find each other. So it's a very good book. If to read the first one, you have to read the first one to understand this book. You will love it. It was all over TikTok, and I would recommend that book to anyone. But the thing is that it's not fun reading it. It's very sad, and it's just like, damn. It's a hurting book. So this book is supposed to heal us. Okay? It gives us the good guy and Lily. Atlantic and Lily. Okay, and well, obviously, Ryo and Lily have to co-parent. Um and so they do that, and then Atlantic and Lily have their little romantic things, and it's all in this book. And then the only reason why I didn't like this book, because I felt like it was very rushed. I felt like we could get more romantic scenes out of here. Um, like I feel like there was a lot more things that could have been added on here. Like I feel like there could have been a lot more romantic scenes, and by what I mean by that is like certain situations. I feel like there could have been more situations, and where we could have seen their relationship. Because we just saw them like their first dating. I would have liked to see some more drama in there for sure when it comes to them. Like I would have been like, okay, well, how would he react if there was this situation or that situation? We just got very lovey-dovey romantic things, which I'm not complaining, but like I would have loved to see a little bit more. And on top of that, I expected more from Ryo here. I I felt like you didn't get much Ryo. And obviously, Ryo's the bad guy here. But I would have loved to see more of his perspective on things. Because again, he really loved Lily. He really loved his baby. And I think I would have loved to see more on that. I think I would have loved to see more of that. And I mean, I don't know. I just felt like I wanted more of like how the situation between Lily and Ryle would be, like more of co-parenting and how it would affect with Atlantic. There's this one scene which I love, which is the restaurant scene. The boys go at it. I love it. Or was it the other one? I can't remember. But I just not my favorite book. It's just very too much lovey dovey. I feel like there's no more drama in here than it was like the other one. So just not my favorite book whatsoever. Uh, so yeah, and then I feel like they kind of just step away from Ryo and Lily and go more into Atlantic and how his life is and his life drama. So I don't know. I just didn't really like it that much. I just expected a little bit more from the last book, but instead we got pretty much different things. I just didn't like this book whatsoever. So, didn't really like it. I'm pretty sure I didn't even explain it well. But don't even recommend it. I recommend the first book, which is called It Ends With Us. But just not with this one. I just didn't like it that well. And yeah. This one was a very popular one. The love hypothesis. I can't even say that word. Hypothesis. Hypothesis. I can't say that word. I'm so sorry. This one. Okay. This one is a romantic book between a teacher and a student. I believe they're in college. It just bugs me. The teacher's so much older. The girl is obviously younger because she's a student. And OMG, it's just, that disturbs me so much. Like, it did not sit right with me that a teacher was dating a student. And just really bugged me. Okay, um, how it worked, like how they first kissed was pretty cute. You know, it wasn't horrible. Um, she had like an ex or something, I believe so, and she ended up just wanting to kiss someone to make it look like she had moved on. Oh no, her roommate or one of her friends was dating her ex, and she just wanted them to think that she had moved on. So she just kissed the first random person that she saw or whatever, or she just landed her lips on, and to be a teacher. So yeah, um, the only reason why he decided to stay in like a fake relationship was because so they could think that he's gonna actually stay in the school so they could give him more funds for his study. And yeah, they go out and they end up being in this like they go to so much events pretty much, and they just have to act like a couple. But I just didn't really much pay attention to it because it was just a teacher dating a student, which kind of really bugged me, and their age gap. So yeah, not the best for me. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it whatsoever. Um, and then the situations that they were put in, not the best. Yeah, I rated it. I actually have a literally sticky note here. I don't even know why, but I literally rated it 8.5 out of 10. And I literally put I hate the age difference. So I rated it pretty good, but I just didn't even like it that much. Wasn't the best for me. I don't even know why I put it that high. Um, but yeah, it's a very cute romantic book. Don't get me wrong. I would recommend if you just are looking for some romance. Um, nothing nothing spicy goes on in here that much, or yeah, not really, not that I remember. Um, so yeah, and yeah, they just had to be fake dating. And there is a situation where the girl ends up meeting one of the guy's colleagues, and he ends up like forcing himself on her, and she was all like, "Oh, like what are you doing? I'm with like, you know, your other colleague." And then he was all like, "Oh, well, aren't you guys together only because you guys are having fun?" And then she's like, "What? No," and this and this and that. And yeah, that's they just go through a lot, and they just kind of help each other out with all this fake dating. But yeah, the only reason why I didn't like this book whatsoever was because of the age gap. Couldn't do it. Bugged me so much. Did not like it. But everything else is fine. So yeah, this one, this one's a very popular one as well. This one is very spicy romance. Very, very much. Like, very much. It's called Vanity. I believe so. Very cute cover. The only reason why I don't like this book is because it's just very spicy. Romance. Like, this book, kid you not. Literally gonna, hold up. So, I estimate a good amount of this. Give me a second. A good amount of this. This whole part right here. This whole part. This whole middle part. This whole chunk. Right here. It's just all the same. All spice of romance. Bugged me. I skipped mainly all of it because I'm just like, bro, same crap over and over again. Like, come on, there's not other things you could do. Um, the only reason why I somewhat, like, very little liked it was because of this part. This little part. This little part. This little ass part. That little ass part, good. Loved it. Ending, crazy ending saved this whole entire book, and I would have threw it to the trash. But this ending, wow, because you're just like, what? Like, what? Like, what do you mean? Um. So, give you a little background. This is again kind of romantic book, but and how it started was actually very crazy. I believe so, right? The way it starts is very crazy. So she witnessed someone get murdered, and then she was heading to like this interview or something, and that's when she ends up meeting a guy, and then that guy and her has to work together. They end up going to the guy's house, and he end up having a wife, and that wife had to go through so much things with the husband and their children. Oh my, their children. I cannot spoil what happened with their children, but damn, with their children, like some parts just had me. No, the ending had me like damn. That's the best I can give you as a like facial expression thing. But yeah, very very insane. The ending, it explains to you everything. Um it kind of goes back and forth when the wife was okay, and the things that she will just do, I found so disturbing. I couldn't even do it. I I couldn't read some sections because of how she would treat the children and everything she would do towards the children. Oh, I can't. I can't. Literally brings me flashback memories. It's a shocking ass book. Again, the only reason why I don't really like this book is because of the so many scenes. So half of this book I feel like was literally just romantic spice. Okay, I literally feel like it was a good amount of that, and I just really didn't like it. I felt like I was continue reading a spice romance, like back to back pages, and I just really couldn't handle that. I was just like, bro, why do you need so many pages for? Okay, but yeah, it talks a lot about the past. Wow, first of all, and then Back to the Future. I mean, Back to the Present. The girl brings over the husband brings over a girl to do some more. The wife was an author, I believe, so she couldn't really, her brain couldn't properly function anymore correctly, and so the girl who I came over to the house was helping her finish the book because it was a very popular book. And so they found her, and they end up telling her, oh, like, you can move into the house of where the wife is at and the husband is at, and you could just find all the paperwork and everything like that and what's going on. So whatever. Then the guy and the girl end up kind of liking each other, and that's when all the scenes happen. Or not even their scenes, but also the regular wife, who is kind of insane. Their scenes also happen. They're like spicy romance scenes. And I'm just like, damn. Again, the only reason why I like this book was because of the ending. And when it was not spicy, it was interesting. Like, that's happened. Like you are mentally disturbed, girl. So yeah, it also gives like scary vibes. So it's a romantic, somewhat scary vibes, and traumatic. Like, damn, you're really doing that to your own kids? And it's not what you think. It really isn't what you think. So it's like, damn. It's a lot with that book. You might be like, Emily, like, come on, you're saying all these good things about a book. But it's like, no, if you read it, you see what I mean. But to me, the only thing that saved it was the somewhat of a storyline and the ending. But in that, I feel like half of this book, I was just rereading the same thing, which is spiciness. And I'm just like, bro, get over it already. Like, come on. Okay. Now on to my recommendations. This one, I just finished reading it. This one is about a girl. It's a really crazy story as well. It's a girl who's addicted, ends up dating a cop, and the girl says, "Oh yeah, I'm clean," but she really isn't, and she has like all these drug deals and everything like that, and she is still dating the cop. She literally has drugs in the house while she's dating a cop. So she goes through all this crap and all through this crazy situations with drugs, drug dealing, her being high, drinking, and everything like that. She's just an addictive um drug person. That came out really bad. She's a very addicted to drugs. And it's crazy because while all of this is happening, she's dating a cop. Like, you know, well, he ends up finding out sooner or later about all this stuff. And the crazy part is that she literally goes and steals stuff from his side of the stuff. Like, let's say he has guns or something, he will steal it and sell it for money or sell it for drugs. And there's this one incident where she literally went to the cops mother's house and literally went and go steal more stuff from her house and went to go steal it for money. Um they end up catching her, obviously. Not gonna tell you how, but they end up catching her, and it's very crazy because it really pointed me in a new direction. It's all like, wow, people who are really addictive to stuff, like, you never see how far they go. But this book made me like open my eyes a little bit more. It's all like, damn, they will go to the literally extreme just to have an ounce of drug or whatever they're addicted to. So I'm just like, damn, like, all of this is literally happening. And then she also talks about her experience in jail and what she's going through. And she was straight. She is straight. But and then she went to like a prison. So in the prison's all girls. So because they said, oh, she had no like male interactions, so she ended up falling for girls. But when she got out, she ended up being straight again, pretty much. So yeah, and the reason why she's like talking about her past is because she's talking to a therapist. So while she's prison, they end up transferring her into like this rehab center, and yeah, they end up just talking to her. She's just talking about her past with her therapist, and then once the session is over with the therapist, she goes back and then she starts talking about her life in prison again and what she's going through and what she feels. And she'll be like, oh, this how it ended and this and this and that. It's a really good book. I recommend it because it's not, and it's based on a true story. Okay, so this person actually dated a cop, went through all these drug deals, had drugs in the house, steal things, and she literally dated a cop. The ending is so beautiful. Okay, another one I recommend is The Summer I Turned Pretty. Very great. Love triangle, beautiful, very good. And then this one, it's just a romantic story. I love it. It's a baseball player and a girl. The girl has a traumatic past as well, and the baseball player has a traumatic past as well. So both have traumatic passes, or the boy or the man is dealing with a lot of personal stuff at the present moment. And I mean, yeah, he ends up going to this small town. He ends up living with this one girl because she has an extra house for a specific reason. And I mean, yeah, they end up just kind of helping each other out. It's a beautiful love story. I love it so much. And I mean, yeah, I really recommend this one. It's a very easy book. It's just very romantic and it's very cute. So yeah, I mean, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you like it. I hope you liked my last episode as well. And if you have any more topics that you might want me to talk about, let me know. And I hope and pray that you have a great morning, evening, and whenever you listen to this. Okay? Bye. Also, I forgot to mention, make sure you go follow on all the socials and subscribe if you liked it. And I mean, yeah. Also, I'm going to show you my little bookshelf so you can see it and what I mean. This was it. I literally took out most of the books, but yeah. And then I'm going to show you my little other book collection I have, which is like right here. There's more on this side. And yeah, I hope you liked today's episode.